If you're considering moving to Damascus, Maryland, and you're wondering what are the pros and cons, the good and bad of living here, that's what I'm gonna go over in this video, so let's just jump right in. Hey everyone, my name is Brady and I'm a realtor here in Maryland, and I'm excited to make this video because I live just a few minutes from downtown Damascus. So this is my area to cover. This is where I shop. This is where I go frequently. So if you have any additional questions about Damascus that I don't cover in this video, please reach out to me after you're done watching. And if this is your first time visiting the channel, thank you for being here. I make videos like this every single week about the best places to live in Maryland and what you should know before moving here. So make sure to hit that subscribe button so that you stay up to date on all of my upcoming videos. So Damascus is located in Montgomery County, Maryland, at the very northernmost point of the county, and it sits at the crossroads of major commuter routes, Route 27 and Route 108. And it's about 10 minutes to Mount Airy, about 20 minutes from downtown Frederick, about 50 minutes from Baltimore, and about an hour from DC, and all of this is with no traffic. And a little history on the town of Damascus. It was actually a parcel of land granted to a man named Nathaniel Pigman back in 1783 by the then brand new US state of Maryland. And then on February 14th of 1819, a War of 1812 veteran, Edward Hughes, bought a 40-acre section of the grant and began subdividing lots for sale. Then in 1816, our fourth US President, James Madison, appointed Hughes the postmaster of the developing community of Damascus, and he received permission from Congress for a postal route through the town, and Hughes called this town the Pleasant Plains of Damascus after Damascus, Syria. So what are the pros about living in Damascus? Well, I would say the number one pro of living in Damascus is that small town feel. While many other communities in Montgomery County have become very highly developed, Damascus has held its own with a lot of rural land and a lot of equestrian properties that are pretty much lining the hillsides of Damascus. So if you are looking for a place where you can live with and board your horses, Damascus may be the perfect location for you. There are a lot of options and a lot of stables nearby. And the second pro of living in Damascus are the amenities nearby. If you need to go shopping, if you need grocery stores, the hardware store, all of that is right in town. So you don't have to go anywhere unless you need something specific, or if you need to go to a Home Depot for something that the local hardware store doesn't have, or go to Frederick for something more specific, that's why you would leave the town. But if you need something really quick from the grocery store, everything you need is pretty much right in town. And you have a pretty even mix of local shops, local restaurants, as well as chain restaurants like your Starbucks and your Chipotle and your McDonald's. But one of the cool things about Damascus is that it has a local hardware store, like I just mentioned, and it's cool to be able to support small businesses. So if that's something you're into, Damascus really is a great town to do that in. And on top of all the shopping and dining that you have in Damascus, you also have outdoor activities that you could do right nearby. And one of the coolest things you have is the Magruder Branch Trail. Now this trail is cool because it goes directly through the center of Damascus, north to south, and it goes through Upper and Lower Magruder Branch Park and has 4.2 miles of paved and boardwalk trails, which you really can't find anywhere in this area. And it also has an additional 3.3 miles of natural surface trails. And you may find a lot of other hiking trails in Montgomery County, but to find paved trails like this, I just can't think of any others where you have that many continuous miles of trails where you don't have to enter neighborhoods to continue on it. It is all on paved trails through the woods, following the river. So it's a really popular spot for people that live in Damascus. And speaking of other hiking trails in Montgomery County, the southwest corner of Damascus connects to Little Bennett Regional Park, which is a 3,700 acre park with 91 campsites, over 25 miles of hiking and mountain biking trails, and cool historic sites scattered throughout it. It also has equestrian trails that you can access via horseback from Damascus. There's also Damascus Community Park and Damascus Regional Park, and there's places with soccer fields and baseball fields. So Damascus has a lot of places for both adults and for children for outdoor activities. And the third pro is something everyone is usually curious about when moving to a new area, and that is the housing market in Damascus. And the reason I have this listed as a pro on the list is because there is a variety of housing options in Damascus, from affordable housing options to equestrian estates, and I think that's something that's rare to find in the area. So I think it's really cool that Damascus has this, especially the affordable housing side. You don't usually see those two together, so Damascus is a little unique in that area. And that's because Damascus actually has condominium complexes, which many towns in Montgomery County and many cities do not have in the northern part of Montgomery County. So to have condominium complexes not only available, but close to the high school, close to downtown, where you can actually walk to them, is a really nice thing to have. And if you're looking to buy a condo in Damascus, the median price point for these condos is about $270,000. And if you're looking for a townhouse in Damascus, you'll also have a ton of options in this area. And most of the townhouse communities in Damascus actually back to the Magruder Branch Trail that I just talked about. So you have that amenity right in your backyard. And the median price point for a townhouse in Damascus is going to be right at $355,000. And if you're looking for a single family detached home in a planned community in Damascus, I'm talking about the smaller lots with the sidewalks where the community all pretty much looks the same. These houses have a median price point of about $570,000 here. And those are going to also mostly have access to that Magruder Branch Trail that I spoke about before. But if you're looking for a different type of house, a larger plot of land, an equestrian estate, there are a ton of options just outside of that downtown area. Not near the Magruder Branch Trail that I'm talking about, but I'm talking out in the country, out by the farms and the equestrian estates. You're going to have a ton of options from small ranchers up to massive craftsman homes. It's up to you what you're searching for. It's most likely going to be there. So that price point is going to vary significantly. I can't pinpoint it, but you could go anywhere from $400,000 to $500,000 up to well over $2 or $3 million, depending on the estate that you're looking at. All right, so now that we've covered the pros and the good things about living in Damascus, we have to cover the not so good things. And I would say the first con of living in Damascus is the traffic. And this is because Damascus sits at that intersection of Route 27 and Route 108. And at pretty much any time of the day, people are traveling in every direction. It's not like one time of the day, everyone's headed to the east, and then the other time they're headed back west. People are traveling north to Mount Airy, south to Germantown, east to Howard County. There are so many people crisscrossing right through Damascus. It's really a meeting point of all of those different locations. So at any point throughout the day, you're going to have traffic in downtown Damascus. And the second con of living in Damascus is it's really not a great commuter location. It takes you significantly longer to get to places like Baltimore or Washington, D.C. or Frederick than if you just lived in a place like Mount Airy or Germantown. So you're not going to want to live here if your main goal is commuting or easy commuting to those places. And there is a bus line that can take you down into southern Montgomery County, but it's going to take you a very long time. So again, that's the con of living here, is it is not the greatest place for commuters. And the third con only applies to people who drink alcohol, and that's that there's no beer or liquor stores in Damascus. People call it a dry town. It's not really fully dry because the restaurants will serve you alcohol, but they're the only place that you can get it in town. So if you're looking to host parties or you like to have a beer on the weekends, you're gonna have to drive into nearby Mount Airy or somewhere else to get your alcohol and then drive back home. So this was just the quick pros and cons, the good and the bad of living in Damascus, Maryland. Of course, there are many other pros and many other cons that we could find about living here. So if you're a local or you have lived in Damascus before, make sure to comment below what were your favorite things and least favorite things about living in Damascus. It helps everybody watching this video determine whether or not they should move here. And again, if that's you, if you're considering moving to Damascus or any of the surrounding areas, I would be happy to help you. Just go down into the description or in the comments and click on the link to schedule a one-on-one consultation with me so we can get a plan together for your move. And as always, if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe so you stay up to date on all of my videos about living in Maryland.